WhiskyJason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American over here in Germany, often tasting rare and exotic whiskeys. This is somewhere in between. This is the Glenfarclas. This is the Christmas edition. And this is the 2010 distilled in December, that's why it's Christmas, and 2022 bottled. 11 years of age. All right, now I'm going to compare it to two things. First of all, I do have a box this year. If I go over here from last year's bottle, this is the 2012, and it was actually then bottled in 2021, so it's a 9-year-old. So it's actually going back in time, which I find a little bit weird, but hey, why not? So this is Whiskybase number, have to take a look again, 219207. We have 5,400 bottles. Here we only had 4,200 bottles last year. Let's see if I get this right. Yep. And both of these are 46%. So both of these are vintages. Now last year I did not get a box. Last year the labels were not as nice as they are this year. So this year we're running about 50, let's just call it here about 58 euros. And over here last year, Whiskybase number 199111, we were running around 53, 54 euros. So basically what we have is a 10% increase in price, inflation at the moment, at least over here in Europe. So between last year and this year, it cost 10 euros more, or 10% more, 5 euros in this case. And we have actually a little bit more of an age, 11 versus 9 years. Both of them are 46%. Now over here, we actually have the nice little thing that I have the bottle number. So I have bottled, I have 1,610 of 5,400 bottles. So here it just says 1 of 4,200 bottles. So we actually have individual labeled bottles there, which I think is kind of nice. So I'm going to go back to my nice little malt whiskey yearbook. There's some great information here I'd like to share with you. This is the 2020 Glenfarclas. Here we go, the 2023 version. So there's basically a couple facts I did not know. So let's all go over here to the distillation process. They do use direct gas-fired pot stills. Now, the wash still, they actually have rummingers, those little tiny little chains running around the inside. The chains actually are of a softer metal than the pot stills and copper. And so if anything actually has some friction and then decides to have a little bit of wear, it's going to be the rummingers and not the pot stills. And what we do is usually what we do is the middle cut starts at 72%, not that different. Most distilleries stop around 63, 62. Almost everyone stops before it's 60%. Well, not Glenfarclas. They go all the way down to 58%. So when you distill, you start off, the ABV is higher, and the longer you distill, the lower the ABV gets. All right, and so they actually go all the way down to 58%, which you often need for old storage in sherry casks. So the Glenfarclas new make is called robust. It actually says here, let's see if I can actually say the words they use here. They use the words here to heavier spirit. They talked about here, where was that? They had the word here, pungent, I thought. I can't find it. Oh, no. All right. So the next thing I did not know is the distillery is equipped with a 16.5-ton semi-lauter mash tun, which is the largest in Scotland. Interesting to know that. And they have 12 stainless steel washbacks with a minimum fermentation time of 60 hours, but with a current average of 106. Very, very nice. And in the pandemic of 2020, the distillery produced only 1.8 million liters. And now in this year of 2022, they will hopefully be able to produce 2.9 million liters. They have 42 dunnage warehouses on site. And the last 2 years, Glenfarclas has moved from the 19th best-selling single malt of the world up to the 12th best-selling single malt Scotch whiskey of the world. So that means they're actually in front of Bowmore, Ardbeg, and Lagavulin. So very, very, very nicely done. And of course, they're family owned. So now, I did not like the last year's edition. I still bought this year's edition because I do like Glenfarclas. Now, my tip of the day is going to be the following. The 15-year-old. Why? So, I'm going to put this in the middle here. The 15-year-old Glenfarclas is actually a couple euros cheaper than this and 4 years older. It is 46%. So, I'm going to ask Glenfarclas team, why should I go out and buy the Christmas edition? If I can get a older, better tasting single malt from the same brand and pay less. I just don't get that. Yeah, okay. Now, I do know that a special release, in my opinion, in my world up here, if I'm going to do a special release, I'm going to pick out my better casks and put those better casks into that special edition so that's worth more. That's what I would assume, right? So let's nose them. I get an acidity. There is sherry here. The sherry is dominant. There's a herbalness to this. There's that sherry. There's a little bit of so okay, we talk about this a little bit of the acidity, as if a baby had just had some milk and it just spit a little bit on that spit towel that I have on my shoulder. That's what I'm getting here. It does have a little burnt caramel going on in there as well. So last year's, much less of the sherry moment, a tiny little bit more of a citrusy moment going on. And the 15-year-old, I like the 15-year-old. We have the vanilla. You have the caramel. You have a little bit of a maltiness going on there. And I actually have more of a nuttiness. So 15, 2022, 2021. So that'd be my ranking on the nose. Let's try them. Cheers. Where this whiskey really lacks is the finish. There's some, at least for my palate, some stuff going on there that shouldn't be. It's almost as like a little bit of heartburn. Over here in Germany, we sometimes call some whiskeys that are not the best quality heartburn whiskey. You drink them, it almost repeats on you. It's a little bit of heartburn. It's not the good Kentucky hug. No, it's that little bit of acidity that goes down there as well. There's wet wood moment going on here, which is not fantastic. This is going to be a C-, almost a D+ moment. This is not something I enjoy. So sorry. If I go over to the 2021, didn't get a box with it last year. This year, at least I get a box. That was probably due to COVID and all the restrictions and so on, and working environment and supply chain issues and so on and so on. Now, the thing that really surprises me is how bitey, shiny, aggressive the alcohol is in here. That 9 years of age, in my personal opinion, was not enough. There could be a little bit longer and more active casks would help here. They are all Oloroso sherry casks. It doesn't even say butts. It could have been hogsheads, it could have been octaves, it could have been butts, it could have been anything. So here we actually have the same thing, matured in Oloroso sherry casks. We don't want to limit ourselves to butts. All right, now going over to the 15-year-old. I can get the 15-year-old for 54 euros at the moment. I've seen it on sale for 49.90. Mm, mm, mm. Nice. Definitely the winner. This is first and second place, and this is third, and this is fourth. All right. Oh, it's got that vanilla. It's got a good wood moment. A little bit of that European spice oak going on there. At least I think it is. It could just be spice oak. It's got a little bit of that chocolatey moment going on there. You have the nutty moment. This is well done. This, unfortunately, is not. This is not. Now, I know there might be a little bit of an attraction to say, hey, Uncle Bob or Dad or father-in-law or boss or whatever, to go out there and buy a Glenfarclas Christmas edition. And it says 2010. So, first of all, I would rather have the year of the that it's not distilled in it, because I'm confused. Yes, this year I'm getting you 2010. Last year I got you 2012, and I have no idea what next year is going to be. I would like to actually have the Christmas edition 2022 on the bottle instead. And then I would actually have up here distilled December 2010, bottled 2022. That's fine. But I think the year should be here instead of the vintage. But that's my personal opinion. I know there's a lot of reasons to go out there and say, oh, I'm going to buy this year's bottling of the Christmas edition. If you're at a shop, ask if they have the Glenfarclas 15. If they do, and they have, if you're at a local specialist whiskey store, ask, could I try it? Do you have maybe both bottles open? Could I try before I buy? And over here in Europe, that's common to do. And you'll be able to quickly see which one you like best. And to be very honest, I'm going to say actually to reward the shopkeeper, buy a bottle for the person you're going to gift it to, and buy a bottle for yourself as well. All right, walk out of the store with 2 bottles. All right, you got to try 2 whiskeys, walk out of the store with 2 bottles. Because that 15-year-old Glenfarclas is really, really good stuff. I've talked about this a lot. These 2 Christmas, are they gimmicky? A tiny bit. If they had been better than the standard 15 years, I would have been, hey, buy, but they're both not. So last year's no, this year's no. This year's is a tad bit better. It's not as young and as alcoholic, but still the standard 15-year-old is just great value for money and a good crowd pleaser. So my question of the day, value for money, more of a D. All right, C minus, D plus for taste, and D for value for money. My question of the day is, what Christmas bottlings do you know about? I know Paul John has a Christmas edition every year now. I know Big Pete from Douglas Lang has a Christmas edition. And I know Glenfarclas gives us a Christmas edition. Which other Christmas editions have you seen out there, or can you recommend? All right, WhiskyJason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American, bashing a little bit on the Glenfarclas, but definitely going for a recommendation for the 15-year-old instead. If you're in the States, you might actually be able to find the 17-year-old, which is also even a little bit better, but also a little bit more expensive. Try before you buy, talk to a shop representative, get some advice, get some recommendations, and walk out a very, very happy person hopefully in the future. Thank you very much for watching me. See you. Bye-bye.